Everyone, it's Leslie. I get this question all the time. What is neutral spine? What does it mean? How do I feel it? How do I achieve it? Think about how many times you may have gone into a Pilates mat class and the trainer goes, "All right, everybody, let's find our neutral spine." But yet you might find yourself having back problems after doing a mat class due to the fact that you haven't found neutral and you're overusing your hip flexors. So let's help you find neutral spine today. So neutral spine is neither your pelvis being forward or your pelvis being back. So neutral is where our body is and going to use the least amount of effort. We think about the way that we are constructed, and if we arch our back, we're not in neutral. If we tuck our pelvis, we're not in neutral. Yet these are two body postures that many of us may live in throughout the day and not even be aware of it. If you're sitting over a computer all day long, you're not in neutral spine, you're flexed forward, meaning that you're probably more what I would call kyphotic, or you have a forward head lean. If you're someone who wear high heel shoes, you've maybe had a baby, you're overtraining your hip flexors, then you're hanging on your low back, your lumbar spine. So the person who's sitting over a computer, or you have both going on. So if I've got this body position, then a trainer goes, "Ooh, squeeze your booty." Now I'm actually in worse alignment than I could ever be in, and I have no hopes of achieving neutral spine. So I never really tell people to rock their pelvis back and forth and do all that, but to start with the feet. So if you look at the bottom of the foot, think of it as a dome. Your pelvis is like a dome, the rib cage, the top of the mouth, the top of the skull, or arches. So when we lift up out of our feet, we're going to notice that we're actually standing taller, and we're going to feel a sense of enlightenment or a sense of lengthening. But letting our feet collapse and letting our body be lazy, we're going to start to hang on our skeletal system. Our skeletal system is really floating within the fascial system. So in other words, we've got all these tendons, ligaments, and organs, et cetera, all of which are trying to work synergistically so that we can literally live pain-free. But the more that we compress by tucking, squeezing, and restricting motion, then our spine has no opportunity to be in the alignment that it needs to be in, because we're either sitting all day or we've just been doing some really bad training. Again, I'm not a fan of pressing the spine down and kicking the legs and overusing the hip flexors. You've heard me say that before. So my goal for you is, what am I supposed to feel? So in a standing position, lift up through your feet, whether you're in shoes or not. Notice how you feel. The pelvic floor lifts, the rib cage lifts, everything becomes aligned, becomes lengthened. All right. So here's my standing neutral spine. I should be able to move, bring my knees up, bend over, touch my toes, reach my arms over my head, pain-free. But try doing that and squeezing your glutes. I can't touch my toes, I can't lift over my head, etc. And yet trainers say that all the time. So again, one of my pet peeves is, never do you need to squeeze your glutes. Unless, of course, you've had a bean burrito, then by all means, please do. Let's talk about neutral spine in a supine position. So we want that little natural curvature underneath our back. But if I'm finding that I can't get it and I have to push my pelvis down and I feel a tightness in my hip, and oh my God, do I feel tightness in my neck now, I am in imprint and I'm not in neutral. And so much of this is coming from tight hip flexors. So what you're going to need is a bender ball or similar. I'll face you. We're going to play, you're going to notice. So just take a moment and notice how your spine feels on a hard surface, which, by the way, is not terribly functional. I mean, again, kicking my legs here. When in life do we do that? Never. But if you're going into a Pilates class and you're not sure what you should be feeling, then take the ball and place it underneath the right hip. Left hip is on the mat. So you want to be cattywampus or at an angle. Extend your right knee and then take the right arm over the head. Our goal right now is to simply lie here and breathe into the right hip. You're going to be elevated on the right and lower on the left. And all you got to do is sit here and breathe and really focus on lengthening your right side body. I want to make sure you can really get that arm over your head. I'm bumped up against the wall, but that full, nice extension of your right hip. You want to stay here for at least 60 seconds. You can flex and point the foot if you choose to, but our goal is to release the hip flexor. Take the ball away, bend both knees, and notice that your right hip is actually going to drop lower than the left. You will feel the difference. Then when you do it on the other side, same thing. And it might not be like a huge aha moment, but again, as we start to look at lengthening through the left side body, once again, you want to stay here for at least 60 seconds or even longer if it feels good to you. Breathe into this side of your body, then take the ball away. Now notice whether or not there is a softness to your spine. There's a softness to your body as you are in a supine position. Even if you were to do something like toe taps, for example, we want to keep neutral because as you press the spine down into the mat, we're over engaging the hip flexors and we're going to start shortening up in through our neck flexors. Our goal is can I keep a tabletop position and do something as simple as this, and yet everything stays consistent in my lumbar, thoracic, and cervical spine. The individual, as I mentioned before, if you've got this forward head lean, the last thing you need to be doing is laying on the floor. Great example is I have a client that has absolutely no movement. And for him, where I get him more neutral is more rotational movements. So by placing my left leg back, I'm extending my left hip. I've allowed now for motion in my left side body. If we look at a lot of cues, or if we look at a lot of programs that are out there, again, like Pilates, whatever the case may be, and not being in the right alignment is not going to allow for the authentic movement that we're trying to get, and we're going to experience maybe pain and or injuries. So give that a try. Lengthen out the hip, lying on your back, and see if you find a suppleness and a subtleness into your body. Then you can start to activate the transverse abdominis through your breath work, etc. Maybe some toe tap, something like that. And does your spine remain constant? And if the answer is yes, then you have found neutral spine. Just a few little tips and techniques into a question that I get all the time. How do I do it? And hopefully this helps you out. This is Leslie, your core training companion.